Hi guys, it's me, Scott, and we're here because this is the video assembly guide for the Aries 1B, the 15-inch Aries 1B assembly guide. Finally! Okay, let's get to it. Well, we won't get to it just yet. There's a few things I want to walk you through as far as what you need to put the model together. The first things are the obvious ones. You need glue, you need adhesives. So you want to use a gap-filling super glue, a thin formula super glue. You're going to need 5-minute epoxy and not a little bit of it. You're going to need a fair amount. The last thing is you're going to need a body filler of some sort. I use a spot putty, which is thinner than normal body filler. That's because the reason for that on this model is the places where you need the filler are very small, and you don't need, you're not filling a whole big void. You're just killing a line. So the other things you need are obvious. A Sharpie. You need a pencil. You need X-Acto knife with number 11 blades. And maybe occasionally you might want to use a number 17 blade. That's the one that's narrow with a flat top. Chisel. Nippers. Always handy. You might want some scissors. Now, this is absolutely vital. This is a post-it note pad. What I use this for, it's a free tip I'm passing along. So if I got some epoxy I want to mix, I mix it on the post-it note pad. And when that epoxy cures, I simply take the page off and throw it into the wastebasket I have under the table here, and move on to the next thing. You can mix body filler on here as well, and it's just the neatest thing. You don't have to scrape anything off later. It's done. You throw it away. You might also want to use stir sticks. I mean, this is a modified tongue depressor. I hate to show it in this condition. I broke off a piece. Sorry about that. But tongue depressors are needed for stirring stuff. You also want to have a measuring instrument. This is a big one. This isn't. 6 inches, stainless steel. Wonderful piece. You're going to want to use some tape, because sometimes you're going to tape something together just to get an idea of how things are going to work. You can use any kind of tape you want that sticks to resin. I use this blue masking tape because it looks good on camera. You're also going to need drill bits. Plenty of them. Not that you're going to break them, there's just different sizes. And, oh yeah, there's one thing that you probably got all this stuff, but there's one thing you probably don't have. Allow me to clean the table off and move this stuff out of the way so that I can bring this thing up here. I'll be right back. You're going to need one of these. This is a sanding board. Yeah, I know. Sanding boards usually aren't this big, but this is a big model. This has 4 pieces of sandpaper on it. The board is actually pretty inexpensive. It's called MDF. It's 3/4 of an inch. Medium density fiber board. That's what that stands for. And I buy this at Home Depot, a pre-cut 2x4 foot hunk of this. And if you guys don't have a big saw at home to cut it into smaller chunks, they'll do it for you at Home Depot. So, but there's another reason for having this thing this big. And that's the other side. This thing's nice and flat, and I do mean flat. So it works as a there's an expression for it. It's left my head. It works as a surface plate. That's what I was trying to think of. That's a machinist's term. But nonetheless, the idea is that it's perfectly flat. So when you have to align some things that need to be in dead alignment, having a surface plate is a good idea. So this thing isn't as ridiculous as it sounds just because of its size. But you don't need one this big. If you don't mind doing a little bit more work, I also find this size handy. You can make a size in between these, but this is just a regular sanding board. I don't even know why I'm talking about it, because everybody knows what a sanding board is. except this one has 80 grit sandpaper on one side, and by the way, that great big one has 80 grit sandpaper on it. Takes stuff down in a hurry, and this has 120 on the other side, so it does double duty. Now, I'm going to show you something you don't need. It's a stiff drink. This model's not going to drive you nuts, or to drink. This is Diet Coke. Okay, that's the intro. And I'm going to move right on after pausing the camera to reset some stuff off camera to bring on camera in sequence so that we get this thing going. So you can stop now and come back later, or just choose the next section, which is the lower hull.